I'd like to welcome an attorney and former FBI special agent, Stuart Kaplan. Stuart, great to see you again. So we'll start with this attack in Pennsylvania. Police have not yet released an official motive for what happened at the Pennsylvania governor's mansion, but court documents say the suspect admits he hates Josh Shapiro. He was plotting to beat him allegedly with a hammer if he saw him. What stands out to you right now most about this attack?
Well, I think the clear indications are that domestic terrorism certainly is on the rise. And when you look at the classic definition of domestic terrorism under 18 U.S.C. 2331, it's those activities that are dangerous to human life or which tend to intimidate our civilian population or to affect our government policies. I think really, quite frankly, the trouble I see is that social media and the media generally is playing a very integral part in kind of adding an accelerant to these now lone wolves. You know, back in my day in the FBI, we were more concerned about organized groups targeting or engaging in what was classic domestic terrorism. Now we see individuals, and I think these individuals are drawn by that common thread that social media, as well as our media platforms, are drawing in these people that, quite frankly, I think underneath it have some mental health issues that are not in check. I know, particularly with respect to this particular case, the Governor Shapiro's scenario, that the mother tried to reach out to local law enforcement because she was concerned that her son may be having episodes of mental health issues. But unfortunately, it fell on deaf ears. And now we have the byproduct of this horrific act. And thank God the Governor Shapiro and his family got out safely.
You know, and talk more about that. You know, Stuart, how social media, potentially the algorithms within social media, are really influencing people who may be more malleable mentally.
Yeah, I think that the tide has turned. Look, I am a staunch proponent of the Constitution, our First Amendment. I think, unfortunately, with the increase in social media and the platforms that now are radicalizing and really influencing, whether it's troubled teens or troubled adults or those individuals that clearly are susceptible to being influenced in a negative way, I think we are going to have to embrace, as Americans, a more intrusive understanding that the FBI, its federal law enforcement partners, as well as local law enforcement, is now going to have to be somewhat of the gatekeeper to pay attention to the social media platforms. And unfortunately, instead of it maybe several years ago, as it may be something that assisted law enforcement if a report came to their attention, I think law enforcement now is going to have to be proactive. They're going to have to be paying attention to it and utilize that as a means to initiate those investigations that may be possible to neutralize those potential threats before someone gets up and carries out some sort of act of terrorism.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.